Hi, I'm Gina. Thanks for joining me today. This video is going to focus on some yoga poses that can help you if your riding instructor tells you that you are in a chair seat. For those of you who ride, you probably know what I mean already. For those of you who may not be riders, when you are in the saddle and your leg slides forward and you lose your ear, shoulder, hip, heel, if you imagine I was in the saddle here, alignment, when that leg slides forward like you're sitting in a chair, that is what we call a chair seat. And because we sit a lot in chairs, we have that, our body finds that shape or has that shape more than it does in the saddle. So these are some poses to help you if you're an equestrian for your chair seat. If you're not an equestrian, this video will still help you, because if you sit a lot in a chair, these poses will help to stretch out those muscles that we shorten when we sit a lot. So you don't need any special props today, just a yoga mat or another non-slip surface. We're going to start in standing. We're going to start in mountain pose, and we're going to find that neutral alignment first. So land with your feet underneath your hips. Lift all of your toes up off the mat, spread the toes nice and wide, and then place the toes back down. See if you can keep that nice space between the toes as you set them back down on the mat. Then think of lifting the inner arch of your foot, lift the kneecaps up, lift the sternum, energy up through the crown of the head, let the shoulders relax, reach your fingertips down towards the mat, and imagine that there's a heavy weight in your heels, bringing that nice grounded foundation to this mountain pose. So again, this could be neutral alignment for your spine. If you notice your lower ribs are jutting forward, think of drawing the lowest ribs towards the hips, helping to engage core muscles. So close your eyes for a moment if it feels comfortable. If that does not feel comfortable, you can just lower the eyes slightly, the gaze slightly, without letting the head drop down. But take a few breaths, just checking in, feeling your connection to the earth, feeling that neutral alignment, and feeling it. You might already be feeling a little stretch in the front of the hips, that hip flexor area where that is shortened when we sit a lot. So just a few breaths here, gently breathing in and out of the nose. Think nice, deep inhale and nice, slow, long exhales. And then very gently let the eyes open. So we're going to do a little balancing pose here. We're going to keep both feet on the ground, or at least part of one foot on the ground, but a little stretch for that hip flexor. So I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see. And I'm also going to hold on to my little deck railing here. You don't have to hold on to anything, but hands at your hips, or again, one hand can hold on to a nice sturdy piece of furniture or the wall. Reach your right leg back, toes to the mat. Press, think of lengthening through the front of the leg. So you're feeling that stretch in that hip flexor. When we sit, this is what we do with that hip flexor. When you get into a chair seat in your saddle, this is what your leg is doing, is going forward. So bring that leg back, feeling that you may already be feeling a fresh stretch in the front of the hip flexor and then that quadricep muscle. If you'd like, you could bring another element to that by reaching the right fingertips up. So bringing a little stretch all the way up the side of the body. And again, you can test your balance a little bit here, bringing that left hand to the hip, or again, keeping hold, but find that steady breath again and feel that nice stretch through the front of that right leg, and maybe even again up the side of the body all the way through the fingertips. Steady breathing. And then as you're ready, release the hand down, bring that leg back in, and then it'll switch sides. So same thing on this side, find your mountain pose. And again, maybe holding on to something with that right hand if you need to. Then bring that left leg back. Press, think of pressing a little bit through the heel. Feel that nice stretch through the front, again, hip flexor, quadricep muscle. Again, maybe a little bit into the abdominal muscles. Maybe that arm comes overhead. Inhale and exhale. And again, for testing your balance, maybe just bring that right hand to the hip. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, and you may notice that one side's easier than the other. This is my tricky side because I have a bum ankle and today a bum knee too. Inhale and exhale. And then as you're ready, release the left hand down, bring that left leg back in, come back again to your mountain pose. Inhale and exhale. Perfect. So we're going to come down to the mat, coming down to all fours. So as you come down, spread the fingers wide, placing your wrist underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips in a table pose. So lengthening through the crown of the head. Inhale and exhale. We're going to do just a little warm up here for the spine, moving in and out of cat and cow. So exhale, round your spine up towards the ceiling into cat pose. And then inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lifting the heart and the sternum, take the gaze forward and up into cow pose. So again, just a little warm up here for the spine. Exhale and inhale. Good. Once again, exhaling and inhale. Good. Feeling that energy traveling up and down the length of your spine as you're breathing. Inhale and exhale. And then come back to neutral, back to your table pose. So a really good strengthener, because what we want to do to counteract that chair pose is what we started, stretching through those hip flexors, but also strengthening our core muscles, not by doing sit-ups and crunches, but by bringing length into the body. And I'm going to extract my little friend here, a little caterpillar that has joined me. I'm going to tell him to relocate. Here. Sorry, buddy. Come on. Oh, all right. I didn't want to pick you up. There we go. All right. That's what happens when you record videos outside. All right. So table pose. So once again, in your table pose, now we're going to slide that right leg back, press through the heel. So already you're probably thinking or feeling that's a little similar to the standing pose. Lift that right leg to hip height. Keep the toes turning down. Think of the lowest ribs drawing towards the hips. Press through the heel, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then you can add that left arm reaching forward again for a little bit more work on core muscles. So you should feel, again, abdominal muscles working, the muscles in the back of the body working. Keep your steady, even breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Another breath here. And then release the left hand, release the right leg. Now slide the left leg back, press through the heel, press into the top of the right foot for stability. Lift the left leg just to hip height. So don't lift it so high that your pelvis tilts. You want to keep that level pelvis here. Press through the heel. Again, feel that stretch through the front of that left hip flexor. And then again, core strength, lowest ribs draw towards the hips. Reach the right fingertips forward. Make sure you're breathing. Nice full long breaths in and out. Again, feeling that energy from the right fingertips all the way down and out through that left heel. And then release the right leg down, release the left leg down. Exhale again, cat pose. Inhale, tilting the pelvis forward, lifting the heart and the sternum, cow pose. Good, one more time. Exhale and inhale. And then come back again to neutral. And we're going to bring our elbows down to the mat. So look where your hands are. Bend your elbows, place your elbows right where your hands were. Great way to check alignment here. If you reach for opposite elbows, you should be able to bring those top two knuckles to the outside edges. So we don't want the elbows out too far, and we don't want them in too close either. You want to think of a straight line from the center of your shoulder down to the point of the elbow. So your bones are supporting you. Knees underneath the hips. Now interlace your fingers. Extend the right leg back. Extend the left leg back. Come to an elbow plank pose now. So giving the wrist a little break here. Inhale and exhale. Again, strengthening that core. Think of drawing that lower belly in and up. Think of the lowest ribs drawing towards the hips. Press through the heels. You can always modify by bringing your knees down to the mat if you need to. If you're feeling too much sensation in your lower back, then support yourself a little bit with the knees, but still keep those core muscles engaged. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now release the knees to the mat, uncurl the toes, release the hands, press back up to your table pose, fold all the way back to child pose just for a breath. Exhale back, little stretch in the back. And then inhale, come back up to table pose, and we're going to do that elbow plank pose once again. So from your foundation, from your table pose, bring your elbows down, interlace the fingers, make sure your knees are underneath the hips. You might need to walk them back just a tiny bit, and then extend right leg and left leg back. Inhale and exhale. Press through the heels. Think of all of those muscles in the legs working. Feel those core muscles working. Make sure you're breathing. Now release the knees to the mat and curl the toes. Send the hips down, and we're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. So cross the hands, one on top of each other, elbows out to the side, and just let your forehead rest on your hands for a couple breaths. Let the legs relax, let the hips relax. Full breaths in and out. And then from this shape, we're going to keep the hands resting on the head. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. You may feel the kneecaps lift a little bit away from the mat, feet hip distance apart. Now just lift the right leg, just like we've done a couple times already. Just think of that standing pose where we lifted that, extended that right leg behind. So you feel that stretch in the front of that hip and quadricep muscle. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press into the right foot, lift the left leg. It doesn't matter how high you lift it. Just think of, feel that energy and feel those muscles in the back of the body engage. Exhale, lower down. Good. One more time each side. Lift the right leg and exhale, lower. Press into the feet. Inhale, lift the left leg and exhale, lower. Now extend your arms all the way overhead, forehead to the mat. And we're going to lift the right leg and the left arm and exhale, lower. And inhale, lift the left leg and the right arm and exhale, lower. If you'd like, you can lift the head an inch or two off the mat, but keep your gaze down. Inhale, lifting right leg, left arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. Good. One more time each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. And then once again, stack the hands on top of each other. Let the forehead rest on the hands. Let the legs relax. Maybe let the hips shimmy a little side to side. A little release in the back. Inhale and exhale. And then our last pose of the sequence, we're going to be lying on our back. So you can just roll over onto your back. I'm actually going to flip around, so I'm aiming the same direction. So lying on your back now, bending the knees, place the heels underneath the knees. Reach your fingertips down towards your heels. Think of drawing the shoulder blades a little bit towards your spine. Take your gaze gently up towards the sky or the ceiling, wherever you are. Important, we're going to work in and out of a bridge pose a couple times. And it's important that you keep your gaze gently looking up in bridge pose. You don't want to turn your head to the side in bridge pose. So if you need to take a peek at the video to see the first bridge pose, feel free to do that before you lift your hips up. But you're going to press into the feet, press into the hands, the forearms, the upper arms, lift the hips up till you have a straight line from your shoulders to your hips to your knees. Again, we're stretching the front part of this hip flexor. Exhale, slowly lower back down, one vertebrae at a time. So again, we're going to do that a few times. Press into the feet, inhale, slowly lifting up. Feel that stretch to the front of the body. Keep energy in the arms. Press into the palms, the forearms, the upper arms, shoulder blades towards the spine. Exhale, slowly lower back down, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Once again, inhale, pressing into the feet, come all the way up. Stay here this time, couple breaths. You can shrug the shoulders a little bit more underneath towards the spine if you like. Gaze lifting, looking up towards the sky or the ceiling. Think of lifting the sternum towards the chin towards the sky. Breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. And then as you're ready, slowly again, lowering down one vertebrae at a time. Pausing here. Turn the palms to face up. You can keep the knees bent if that feels better for your lower back, or straighten the legs all the way out for a few breaths. Close your eyes. Just let your body settle into the earth. Gentle breaths in and out of the nose. Couple more breaths here. Again, just feeling the body heavy on the earth. Bringing awareness once again to the area of the hip flexors, the quadricep muscles that we worked to lengthen today, and the core muscles that we worked to strengthen. And as you're ready, gently bring the knees in towards the chest, roll over onto your side, gently come up to a comfortable seat. Maybe close the eyes for just another moment. Feel that nice length in your spine. And then very gently let the eyes open. So thank you so much for joining me for that little sequence to help with your chair seat. And again, if you're an equestrian, that's a part of the body that we really need to work on, because we do sit a lot. You know, you sit in your car or truck to drive to the barn. Maybe you're sitting at work all day, or you're sitting on your sofa watching TV at night. So we need to do something to really lengthen that part of the body so that when we get in the saddle, that will help. And again, if you're not a rider, or maybe you are a rider but you're in a break right now and not doing much riding, it's still beneficial if you do a lot of sitting, which most of society does too much sitting. That's really beneficial for helping to lengthen those hip flexors out and strengthen the core and the back of the muscles to support. So thanks again for joining me today. I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Please check out Grey Horse Yoga in the info section below and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye-bye.